So if you saw my last video, you know that I was talking about Transformers leaks and how usually when we start to get a couple leaks, we get all the leaks just a couple days later. And now we have leaks for at least the first two waves of Studio Series, plus some exclusives, some A-level figures, and pretty much all the Studio Series leader class figures that we were going to get in 2027. So we're going to start with the A-level figures. Like, the point of an A-level figure is that it's going to be available at pretty much any retail store. You can go in almost any time of year and you will be able to buy it. So think of the Devastation Bumblebee, think of the Transformers 1 Orion packs, the Transformers 1 Optimus Prime, and the 86 Bumblebee. So it really tends to be Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. And this year it's no different. I think the A level have to be Bumblebee and Optimus Prime because those are the two best selling figures. So in 2027, we are going to be getting a deluxe Transformers 5 Bumblebee, which is a bit of a weird choice, and an A level deluxe Dreamwave Optimus Prime. So in Transformers 5, Bumblebee had two modes. This could be the Last Night Camaro Bumblebee, or this could also be the World War II Bumblebee, which would be a really odd choice because technically they've already done both of these figures in Studio Series. We had the 2017 Camaro Bumblebee that was released in a two-pack with I forget what the two-pack was, but that was just a refresh of the Premier Edition Deluxe, which in my opinion is now inaccurate because that 2017 Premier Edition Deluxe Bumblebee is way too big to fit in with the current Deluxe Carbots that the Studio Series scale has went with. So I think they do need to redo this Bumblebee, and this could be an easy retool of the already existing Deluxe Class Bumblebee, or this could be an entirely new Deluxe Class Camaro Bumblebee, because as you're going to see more in this list, 2027 is the 20th anniversary of the first live-action Transformers movie, and it looks like we're going to be getting some new molds. So I think this Bumblebee isn't going to be the World War II Bumblebee. I think it's going to be the 2017 Camaro Bumblebee, and it's not going to be a repack of the 2017 Deluxe. It's going to be either a retool of the Camaro Studio Series Camaro Bumblebee, or it's going to be an entirely new mold for all the iterations of the Camaro Bumblebee. As for the Dreamwave Optimus Prime, I think this is going to be more of a PAX looking Optimus Prime. Like, Dreamwave is known for doing a G1 Optimus Prime, but really almost kind of bubbly, I want to say. I don't think it's going to be just a straight up another G1 Optimus Prime. I think it's going to be based on the more Orion Pax design. I don't know the comic it was in because I wasn't into any of the Dreamwave comics, but it's cool that they're doing this. It's good that we're getting more comic representation, or that we're going to be getting comic representation in Studio Series. Dreamwave Optimus Prime just seems like a bit of a weird choice, especially at a deluxe class. And now we're going to get into what is going to be the first wave of 2027, or probably the last wave of 2026, because we're probably going to see this wave at the very end of 2026. And for this, we have a Studio Series 86 Alicon, Studio Series 86 Wheelie, Studio Series 86 Red Alert, and Transformers 1 Shockwave. These are all deluxe class figures. So we're going to start with the Alicon. Obviously, we have the Alicon from Earthrise that's been repainted. He came in the Troop Builder Buzzworthy Bumblebee 4-pack. So I think we can expect the same mold, just different paint scheme. It's really not a surprise that we're going to be getting an Alicon. It's another Troop Builder. It's more to go towards your Sharkticon army. And I think it's a good call that they're redoing this, because the initial Earthrise figure I had a lot of trouble finding. I don't think I ever found it at retail, and the only way I have this mold is from the Buzzworthy 4-pack. So I'm happy they're bringing this one back. I would honestly expect this to be just a straight up packaging refresh or a very, very slight deco change. On to 86 Wheelie. We knew this was coming because when Retro Wheelie got revealed, the designer said we could expect a G1 Wheelie very, very soon. But I think this mold is too big for Wheelie. I think the core class Wheelie suits Wheelie better. Yes, the deluxe would have a better alt mode, a better transformation, but I think when you put it with the rest of the Studio Series 86 figures, it's just too big. I like it when Wheelie is a little bit smaller than Bumblebee, and this deluxe Wheelie mold is bigger than Bumblebee. And then the Studio Series Red Alert is another really, really weird pick because I don't even know if he was ever in the movie. I know he was in concept art, but. And we got a really, really good Red Alert in Kingdom that used the Earth mode, or the Earth mode sideswipe alt mode. So I don't know how they're going to improve that other than like slight changes, maybe. But to me, the Kingdom Red Alert was really, really good. It was a Walgreens exclusive, so maybe it was hard for people to find, but Walgreens exclusives generally have been pretty easy to find the past couple times that they've been doing them. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Maybe Red Alert is going to be another packaging refresh of the Kingdom version. To see. And finally, Transformers 1 Shockwave. Since we just got Soundwave shown off yesterday, and we have Starscream, we have all the other Decepticons, I don't think Shockwave is a surprise to anybody. And I don't mind his Transformers 1 design, so that'll be a cool one to get as well. So we're going to switch up the microphone mid-video. Hopefully this is a little bit better. I think my other microphone was being a little bit annoying, so we're going to talk about the Voyagers now for the first wave of Studio Series. According to listings, we're getting a Studio Series 86 Quintesson Judge as the first Voyager, and we're also going to be getting Voyager Class 2007 Ironhide, which I am ecstatic that they're doing more Bayverse stuff in Studio Series. Totally makes sense as 2027 is the 20th anniversary of the 07 movie of the live-action franchise. So this is perfect to me. The original Ironhide, the Studio Series Ironhide, had pretty bad distribution and goes for insane prices. I don't think it ever got reissued. It was in an Amazon exclusive 5-pack once, but other than the initial release, like this figure didn't get a lot of people missed out on this figure. And I'm really hoping that this could be one of two things. This could be an entirely new mold for Ironhide, or it could just be a re-release of the original Ironhide. I think either way it would be fine. The original Ironhide was a really good mold. I think it looked a little bit big next to Optimus Prime, but since we're getting a new leader class Optimus Prime, I think if they just reuse the same mold, it would be totally fine. So we're going to have to wait and see what that one looks like. And I'm hoping for a Dark of the Moon retool down the road as well, because in Dark of the Moon, Ironhide doesn't have his cannons. He's got those handheld guns that go on his back. And I was really disappointed Studio Series never gave us a Dark of the Moon Ironhide. So now with Transformers 1 Ironhide, there's hope for me again that we're going to eventually see a Dark of the Moon Ironhide one day. As for the Quintesson Judge, I think this could very well be another re-release of the Earthrise Quintesson, because, again, that came out during COVID. There was horrible distribution. I never saw it at stores. And it's a really accurate Quintesson, and that's all what Studio Series 86 is about. It's about screen-accurate characters. So I think the Judge, along with the Alicon, makes sense, and they could just be packaging refreshes. And for the leader classes, we're going to be getting a Studio Series Comic Universe Soundwave based on the Marvel Comics, and a Comic Universe Fortress Maximus based on the IDW Comics. Now, if you remember, a couple of months ago, all the leader class figures for Studio Series got leaked. So it's really no surprise what we're going to be getting for leaders. But Marvel Comics Soundwave is definitely going to be using the Studio Series 86 Soundwave, just with probably more of like a purpley blue, and hopefully without a faceplate. I think that would be a really funny decision that they could make. And I'm really hoping it comes with some cool cassettes, like some comic only cassettes. That would be my goal. As for Fortress Maximus, I know IDW fans have been wanting this for a really long time, and I think his IDW design is really cool. I'm just more of a fan of the Titan class Fort Max. So either way, both of these sound like really cool options. So we don't know the order of what's going to be released. This is just going off of leak lists and trying to separate it to roughly 4 deluxes per wave, 2 Voyagers, 2 leaders. So it is all speculation. So this wave will have 2007 Jazz, Studio Series Devastation Goldfire, Studio Series Devastation Nemesis Prime, and a Studio Series Comic Universe Nautica. So Transformers 1 Jazz is either a 50-50. It's either going to be a re-release of the Wave 2 Studio Series 07 Jazz, or it's going to be an entirely new Jazz mold. And I'm kind of hoping it's a new Jazz mold, because the deluxe is good. It just leaves a little bit to be desired with modern engineering. And that original deluxe, like I said, is from wave two of Studio Series, and Studio Series is on like wave 30 something by this point. So it'd be cool to see what they could do with some modern engineering. And the Studio Series Goldfire, Devastation Goldfire, is obviously going to be a repaint of Devastation Bumblebee with new head, the gold bug colors. That one's pretty obvious. And then same with Devastation Nemesis Prime. It's going to be the deluxe Devastation Optimus Prime repainted into Nemesis colors. This is kind of an interesting choice because I feel like a lot of fans weren't crazy about the Devastation Nemesis Prime, but it'll be interesting. We're going to see that mold again, and I wouldn't be surprised if it shelf warms. The really interesting one is IDW Nautica. I haven't read that much of the IDW comics, but I know Nautica is a fan favorite character, and I love the aquatic alt mode. So the more aquatic alt modes we get, I feel like the better. She will most likely be an entirely new mold, and I'm really excited to see because there was a Titans Return Blur repaint of her years ago, and it goes for crazy prices on eBay. So a modern Nautica with her own mold could be a really, really cool figure. Onto Voyagers, we're also getting an '07 Studio Series Ratchet. So if you remember wave one of Studio Series, we got a deluxe Ratchet, and then they also repainted it into the Dark of the Moon colors. The deluxe is good. I would say it's better than the Dark of the Moon deluxe. It's better than the '07 Voyager. But it could be improved like all these are older Studio Series figures. They could all be improved now. So the fact that this one's a Voyager means we're getting an entirely new mold for Ratchet, and I'm really pumped about this one. Hopefully they take some notes from the movie Masterpiece, and this Ratchet could be really, really good. And I'm sure we would get the inevitable Dark of the Moon deco, which I prefer. We're also getting a Studio Series Comic Universe IDW Drift at Voyager class price point, which is very bold to me. I feel like getting Drift as a Voyager is interesting, but the Generations Deluxe does have a lot to live up to because I still have that Deluxe and it's one of my favorite figures. The way the swords go in his sides and on his back is just so cool. Great transformation, great robot mode. And if they want to do a new Drift based on that same design, I think they would need a Voyager budget to actually pull it off nowadays. But it could be a different iteration of Drift because Drift has had multiple designs in IDW, but I feel like they're going to go the most iconic route and do the same design as the Generations Drift. And then two more leader classes are 86 Swoop and 86 Dead Optimus Prime. Swoop is going to be a packaging refresh. I think they've done packaging refreshes for all the Dinobots or almost all the Dinobots at this point. Makes sense, they're in-demand figures. People still want the Dinobots if they missed out on one of them. I wouldn't mind a Sludge with some tighter knee joints, but we might get that eventually. And then Dead Optimus Prime, same thing. Expect the more than meets the eye damaged Optimus Prime, but this time fully gray, fully dead. It's weird that this is a mainline release and not an exclusive, but whatever. And then those are all the listings that we have for Deluxes and Voyagers, but we also know that we're going to be getting a Transformers 5 The Last Night Leader Class Megatron and a Transformers '07 Leader Class Optimus Prime. I've talked about the Optimus Prime before. I think it's a great idea. The Studio Series '07 Voyager Optimus Prime is just okay, and the recently revealed Voyager Evasion Mode Optimus Prime is pretty lackluster. So I think a leader class budget is needed to do a really good '07 Prime, and I'm hoping this thing is like perfect. As for Megatron, the TOK design is amazing, and the Voyager from TOK was a really, really good figure. So hopefully with a leader class budget, they could almost kind of upscale the Voyager and improve it a little bit. There was also a leader class for The Last Night, but I think most people preferred the Voyager. So I'm expecting that figure to be really, really good too. What's interesting here is we don't have a listing for a leader class Hound from The Last Night. Originally in leak list there was a Transformers 5 Hound, but that seems to be gone. So that's interesting, and I hope that figure didn't get canceled. But the 2017 Premier Edition Hound is a really good figure, so we don't need a new one. It would just be nice to go along with all these other releases. The final leak that we have is an exclusive, and this is for an Autobot cassette pack. So I think this is 100% how we're going to get a fully opaque ejector rewind. I always get them mixed up. A fully opaque version of one of those two. I always get them mixed up. Or maybe even both of them, and then maybe a Steel John or Ram Horn. I don't think we're going to get any new molds in an exclusive. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I think it would just be eject, rewind, maybe Ram Horn, Steel Jaw, all in one pack. But I would expect 4 cassettes because that's what they did with the Generation Selects Soundwave cassettes a while ago. So this is good. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we get some new characters. I'm a huge cassette fan, so the more cassettes we get, the better. That's it for this video. What do you guys think of all these leaks, and how many of these are you going to be buying?